Music. We all have different tastes in music. I love a wide range of music. Something soft, hard-hitting, something with some strings, some rhythm or nostalgia. But I mostly listen to some UK and US hip-hop, R&B and house music. I love music. It sometimes gets me through my day. I listen to podcasts and talk shows too. There's every chance I'll turn up outside your house or place of business with a set or playlist on. And when you arrive, I'll make an assumption about your tastes, either to keep playing the music or turn over to the radio. How can you not love R&B or house music? If I'm joining a set or playlist, I'll likely keep it on or lower the volume. But there's been times when I've been playing some UK or US hip hop where the content or language may be questionable. Depending on the rider, I've kept it on. However, on the subject of assumption, you're not always right. I turned up to someone's place playing Pusha T, If You Know, You Know. No, that's the name of the track. I'm not questioning your knowledge. But when they jumped in, I went to put it on the radio and she said, nah, leave it. I like that. I had another similar experience where I was playing Fela Kuti and a mature group got in the car. They were loving Fela. The beat, the rhythm, then unbeknown to me and them, the language got strong, quickly. I believe it was a Project Expensive shit. I was in deep thought with my mouth wide open. Should I change it? There was silence in the car for the remainder of the track. They were loving it moments earlier. I felt I couldn't just change it suddenly. I've had some terrible experiences with music. Have you ever been to a rave or party and the music isn't to your liking and the DJ set went on for an hour too long? Welcome to my ward every Friday and Saturday evening. Do you like this, driver?
Yeah, that's alright, you know.
Whereas I'm thinking, thank God there are just 10 more minutes until we arrive at your destination. Some of my most interesting encounters have involved journeys with Chinese people. Now, this is a little off topic, but this has been on my mind for a long time, and it's only right to share it with you as it's part of my story. My stories and experiences with music mainly involve Chinese people, but in working in London as a driver, I've always been left a little confused by my experiences with them, with Chinese people and their names. I should understand this better than most. I'm of African heritage. But to provide more context, my first name is Andrew, but I have African names too, middle names. I'm called Kweku. I'll respond to it, but I'm never called it. Africans who are born in Africa generally keep their birth names, even when moving to other countries. So, when picking up Chinese people, and it's clear they're not from the UK and they have names like Harry, Pauline and Chloe, it raises an eyebrow. Initially, I didn't think anything of it. When I began picking up these Harrys, Paulines and Chloes in numbers, I would often double take. I had no base in my argument, but one day I had to call her Pauline because of an issue with the pickup. Unknown to me, she was Chinese. So when she answered with a strong Chinese accent and couldn't communicate well, I was shocked. I thought, shut the front door. I knew it. There's something I was missing. It was only after another Harry got in my car that I shook my head and said to myself, you're chatting shit. That's not your name. That's not your name. I made a decision to research it, to find out I wasn't the only one who had questions. There had to be a reason why they had English names. I thought it might be something simple, like making their transition easy into Western culture for opportunities and social purposes, to avoid having to give people lessons in pronouncing their names. And that's what it was, among a few other interesting details about their history and alphabet. It was good reading and research. In the late 90s, early noughties, I dropped out the second part of my surname to avoid issues also. I got sick and tired of having the same questions asked. Oh, where's that name from? How do you pronounce it? They're nice questions if there's a genuine interest, but the same question repeated week in, week out, year after year. Sorry, it gets boring after a while. For those wondering, my surname is Mensa Chimisi. But back to music. Story number 2, Supernova. Chinese people have this incredible relationship with music, whether it's pop star fandom or an affinity to hip hop. But there's a flip side to that coin. They don't do karaoke very well, to my knowledge. But I will tell you my experience with music and them whilst driving. When I began driving and receiving requests to pass the aux, people were playing music to my taste. Music we could vibe and sing along to, along the A12 and up and down London. Some of the best taste in R&B and house music. Like anything, with more involvement, participants, the average and quality would drop. Have you got an aux driver? It went from bad to worse, just shocking, cheesy and corny, the type that ruins the vibe. One experience I remember giving the aux to a passenger as she began singing. It sounded like cats screeching. The music was terrible. I can't remember the music, but the genre must have been terrible music. Whenever anyone Chinese asks to pass the aux, it echoes and brings back those memories. The final time I passed the aux was my final trip one evening. I was going from King's Cross to Hampton Court, an hour's journey. When they asked me to pass the aux, I was like, no. But I passed the aux. They said they were excited to introduce me into some Chinese music. Just great, I thought. I was polite, but I wasn't in the best of moods. I really didn't want to go to Hampton Court. I had to be somewhere, and Hampton Court was a little out of the way. As the music started, they said it was a Chinese artist. I recognised the instrumental and the lyrics. As they began humming and singing, I raised one eyebrow, but I allowed the song time to breathe. How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high? Slowly walking down the hall, Faster than a cannonball. Wherever you are, we will getting high. Someday you will find me. Then suddenly I burst out. Who's this? This isn't Chinese. This is Oasis. They all laughed out loud. It was a cover by a Chinese artist. It was so funny and made the trip worth it. It made me smile. We briefly spoke about music and their playlists. Strangely, it broke the mold. The air and cycle around journeys with Chinese riders. It was a new feat for the Pass the Yorks experience. Tip for the chapter. In the event of having to pass the Yorks, have a Bluetooth ear set with you. You may need it.